Hi, welcome back to Finally Revealed. In this episode, I want to talk about the local jurisdiction rules and regulations. There are some varying ones throughout our country right now. It's November 2020, and I'm talking about the pandemic and what's going on. All of a sudden, some things have ramped up since we had our day of voting and our election, and now we're waiting for that to play out. And some different places in the country are now trying to clamp down on rules, and some saying you can't have Thanksgiving and things like that. So I wanted to talk just a little bit about what you can do about this and what you should do and how you might look at this for you. You are the only person who can make decisions for you and your family. I'm not sure that people really realize that. As I say in another video, I talk about the Constitution a little bit, the United States Constitution, which is the bedrock of our country. It's the framework inside which everything else operates. That framework cannot be bent or broken or ignored. It's there. There is a specific process as to how the United States Constitution can be changed by an amendment. And yes, the courts interpret different articles and provisions of it, but they can't change it. And those rights that we have, that these local governments are bumping into or trying to trample, are something that we really need to pay attention to. So I wanted to highlight that for you. The Congress of the United States makes laws. The courts interpret those laws. Similarly, in the states, the state legislature makes a law. The governor doesn't. The courts interpret those rules and things. You have local health departments that are being more and more involved in these types of issues today. They have a limited ability of what they can and can't do also, and past challenges years gone by in these different areas are available to match against what's happening now to see where things should or shouldn't be. If you sign a contract with someone and you agree to do 3 or 4 things and they agree to do 3 or 4 things, and one or more of those things is against the law in your state, that contract is unenforceable with regard to those provisions. The same thing goes for the people who are imposing a rule on you. Is it a law or is it a suggestion? If you look carefully at the rules that they are putting out for you where you live, your council, your commissioners, pull that up online or have them fax it to you or email it to you if they don't have a website. Most of them have a website. Read what it says. Read every word. You don't have to be an expert to identify some things that might pop out at you. If what they are doing bumps up or violates any of your constitutional rights, it's not legal. If the party or person or body who is issuing these rules doesn't have the power to do them and make them enforceable, either as a civil matter where there might be a fine or as a criminal matter where you could be charged with a crime, then they're not enforceable. If you look or contact your local police or sheriff and ask them what are they doing about enforcement, or does the guideline or rule say who's going to enforce it, don't think that it's the police, because the police only deal with crimes and the legislature has to provide for those, not a mid-level governmental employee or a governor or someone like that. So these guidelines and directives by the local government, I haven't read a lot of them, but I've read a few, but generally they are guidelines. And they might say on a poster or something, health guidelines, wear a mask or something like that, or stay away, or stickers on the floor. If they don't have the authority to do that, you don't have the obligation to follow it. You can if you want. You don't have to if it doesn't apply to you, if you don't want to, if you disagree, if you would rather take care of your own health by yourself. Most of these rules that have been going into effect all over the country are not laws. And most of them, I'm just saying that because I haven't read them all, but most of them are just, they're asking voluntary compliance. Now, voluntary compliance might be threats that you better do this or else. Pay attention to those too. The harder they push, if this was a legitimate law that was legal, you wouldn't need any force because it would be self-evident and it would be fully supported. But if the law enforcement people are not involved in this at all, and the party that is putting this out is not the lawmaker where you live, then they are just suggestions or guidelines, and you do not need to go and fight about this. You just need to ignore it and live your life. And if the issue comes up, then you can challenge it at that time. I want to help diffuse the fear and panic. And as I talk about the Native Americans on my series there, the more you give, the more they'll take. So stop giving and participate in the process if you can. I hope this was helpful. Give me a thumbs up if it was. Leave any comments or questions below. Share it with someone it might benefit. Subscribe to see the other videos. Thanks so much for watching. Come back and see me next time.